Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul. Happy New Year, everybody. There's two words on the lips of everybody around here, Phil and Jones. Phil Jones, the Manchester United and former England defender, hasn't played for 3 weeks short of 2 years in the Premier League. He's starting, Jim.
Well, it's incredible. I'm sure he's been through every emotion in the book in that 2 years. He would have really questioned himself as well as to whether he could do it. But I'm delighted for him because he stuck at it. And here he is now on the threshold of a return. And after some unfair criticism too, I would say, from one or two former colleagues, high-profile colleagues at that. And yeah, I guess now his thoughts in that dressing room will be, keep it simple, do it right, don't try anything silly, and get through it.
Victor Lindelof is ill, Eric Bailly is injured, and Harry Maguire is injured as well, which means Cristiano Ronaldo captains Manchester United. That last happened in 2008, but it's something that people will pick up on again here, I'm sure.
Well, I think so. You know, Bruno Fernandes not involved either, not in the starting 11. So I think Ronaldo was kind of nailed on. I mean, he is the senior man. He's a superstar. He's a diva, if you like, and it had to be him.
Will he be able to score against Wolves, who don't concede many, don't score many, but they are one of the better defensive teams, second best defensive record in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think Wolves pick different formations, or Bruno Lage, depending on, you know, whether he feels they can get at teams. Now, 3-4-3, I believe, is probably their best formation. Oh, here we go. We've been here before.
Listen, it does rain in Manchester, but that wasn't rain.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, defensively, they can't give that up. They'd like to strike a better balance, obviously, and have more offensive menace as well. But you know, I think 3-4-3 is better suited to them, and particularly for Jimenez, who they need to get in the goals again, rather than 3-5-2, what they tend to pick when they're coming up against opposition that might be a little more serious than Manchester United's back four.
That's where we are here, but Phil Jones is the name. Over to you.
More on that in just a moment, guys. You'll find both teams right now top half of the table, United in 7th place, just 4 points behind 4th place Arsenal. It is important to note they have 2 games in hand on the Gunners. Wolves have been in the top half since early November. A win today would vault them into 8th place, just above Brighton. Welcome to Premier League Live. Paul Burmeister alongside Danny Higginbotham and Robbie Mustoe. You know what, the guys Martin and Jim just mentioned, they started with it, they came back to it. Phil Jones, a big deal. A lot of news there coming back into the lineup for Man United. What does he add today?
You can say he adds experience, but he hasn't played, you know, for nearly 2 years now, and it's a huge ask. You know, he's been through so much injury-wise and what have you, and he probably never thought that he was going to get an opportunity. I think what you have to look at is the way that Rangnick likes to play as well. He loves his 2 fullbacks to go forward, so there's going to be a lack of protection there. He's going to be asked to drift into the wider positions. So he's going to need good protection from Varane, who has experience, and Matic in front of him as well. But there's no doubt about it. It's a huge day for him, and it's a massive call as well, because I thought potentially Matic could have played in the centre-back position, but because of how well he did against Burnley, Rangnick's probably thinking to himself, no, I need to keep him in that position.
It's a big call, because he could have done that. Fred could have come back into midfield. It's, you know, it's a familiar-looking lineup. Phil Jones, Rangnick's really putting a lot of trust on this guy. We know that he's been out all this amount of times. I look back at the numbers. He's only played 3 times, 3 games for the under-23s this season, Paul. We're in January. So he's just been training in 3 games. So match fitness will have to be a concern. There was a big article a few weeks ago about Phil Jones, and it was kind of, it's really sad to read it. He absolutely feels he can get back to the top again. He absolutely is annoyed and angry at the treatment that he's got, because it's Phil Jones is always injured type of deal. But now he's got a chance to answer some of the critics. But again, a big ask in this Premier League match.
The problem that you have as well is that if you are just consistently training and you're not playing, it's a completely different type of fitness. So when people talk about match fitness, it's always like, right, okay, especially the start of the season, you've just had a pre-season, it's like you get into the team. Nobody feels their fitness until at least 5, 6, 7 games in. So Phil Jones, he's got to hit the ground running against players that are already at their maximum fitness levels. And you can just imagine that Wolves dressing room at the moment. When they saw Phil Jones' name in the team sheet, target number 1. That's what we're going to do. Everything's going to be based around him. Can we get Jimenez on him? Can we get midfield runners on him? And that's what they'll do, so he needs to be protected.
Do you expect him to make much of a difference today?
Unfortunately, I think when you find yourself in a position where you're coming in a team, all he can do is look after himself. You know, he can't look after the full-backs. He can't look after the central midfielders. He's got to play his own game, but he's going to need help as well. Because it doesn't matter how good a fitness you think you're in. When you go from the training ground to the pitch on a match day, it's a completely different level. So it's going to be a tough game for him.
And one other note for United with their lineup, Robbie. Bruno Fernandes available, not starting?
Not starting. Interesting. And don't have a problem with it. I think if a team plays well, as they did against Burnley, you can keep the same team as the ones that got them there in that performance. That's what's happened. We're going to have a little tactics session in a few minutes to look in about how it's changing at United, and this 4-2-2-2 might evolve into something a little bit different. That hurts Bruno. Bruno will want to play as a number 10. So I think it's a good call. It's a good call. Bruno Fernandes is a brilliant player, one of the best players at the club. But if a team plays well and wins a game, I have no problem with keeping the same guys out there.
I think it's brilliant as well for Greenwood and for Sancho. Two younger players. It's like, this is our star man. Let's not forget, though, Fernandes, he's not scored in the last 13 Premier League games. So for the younger players now, it's like, right, OK, I've got this shirt. It's up to me to lose it now by my performances dropping.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches and much more.